Looking for strategies to help you protect your portfolio in these uncertain times? Visit robblack.com. robblack.com, powered by EP Wealth.
Markets have turned from negative to neutral, with the S&P 500 pretty close to break even now. The Dow Jones Industrial Average is up slightly. The NASDAQ is down slightly. Russell 2000 is the winner, up 1/3 of 1 percentage point. Gold is adding $4, almost $5 a day to 44.12. That's had a rough 5 days. 10-year Treasury sits at 4.37%. Little bit tougher to make money there in stock market. Brent crude, $102.87. This has been a back and forth type of morning in the headlines on oil. Some of the headlines, I would say, that are interesting. The Saudi crown prince is urging President Trump to escalate his Iran war, citing strategically opportunity and regional security risk. I don't know. Sounds like oil can go higher to me. But then there was also a report that came out that Iran's ready to talk. Stocks jolted higher after Trump says U.S. will postpone Iran war for 5 days yesterday. But Iran denied it. Now this morning, we're getting a little bit of a bump as CNN just reported what appeared to be a softening in Iran's position towards ending the war in the Middle East. The way I heard it was an Iranian source told CNN that there had been outreach between the United States and Tehran, and that Iran is willing to listen to sustainable proposals to end the war. Oil prices resumed their rally, though, today. Back above 100. Yesterday, oil fell and the markets rallied. We're seeing a trend. ARM Holdings is hosting an ARM Everywhere event this afternoon. We'll hear a lot about AI computing. Intuitive Machines, ticker symbol Lunar, L-U-N-R. NASA pledges sustained moon presence with faster, repeatable crewed landings. United Airlines is going to add 250 plus planes in the next 2 years. That's the most by any airline, including new premium customer experiences, aircraft variants, subfleet seats, and amenities. Trying to modernize its fleet. Delta gets about 60% of all the profits right now in the airline industry in the United States. They have a lie flat seat, United does, for United Polaris. Patented design that offers more elbow and shoulder room and lower suite walls that protect privacy while maintaining an open feel in the cabin. United has 100 of these new airplanes coming into its fleet. They'll be more efficient. United is making investments for all of its customers like Starlink, Wi-Fi, free for Mileage Plus members, bringing an at-home internet experience to the sky. Apple is in the news today. Analyst Amit Daryani talked about the ARPU and adoption driving growth. This is with Evercore ISI. The quote that Amit threw out was, services momentum remains strong with upside from both average revenue per user expansion and higher services adoption across Apple's portfolio. Monetization expands beyond just the App Store, provided Apple with multiple ways to achieve double-digit services growth. In addition, expectations around the new AI features remain muted, as it continues to be a show-me story. Price target $330. Bank of America upgraded CoreWeave today, arguing that CoreWeave's software stack and strategic alliances with NVIDIA and OpenAI are important advantages over the other neo-clouds. Analysts also think that CoreWeave is financing its massive CapEx plans prudently. Ralph Lauren was upgraded today over at Citibank. Top-line revenue growth and margin expansion. It's one of those stocks that really never sells off, and it's just a very durable brand. Anytime I travel overseas, you see the Ralph Lauren logo slapped on clothes. Chuck Norris just passed. It was worth $70 million. It's amazing to me. He was really, I think, in his heyday in the 1970s and 1980s. But because he had this invincible persona, Chuck Norris doesn't do push-ups. He pushes the earth down. He was able to turn that into a lot of licensing of his name and brand. on things like gym equipment. The NCAA is off to its best start on record. The tournament averaged 9.8 million viewers for the first 3 days, a 5% increase from last year. There's a pretty cool company that I was reading about in LA Business Journal, Clean Earth Rovers. It's deploying autonomous boats to collect trash from the port of Los Angeles. Since January, the Tidy Bots have removed 1 ton of debris from the water. That's 200 to 400 pounds of trash per day. With a high price of oil, it's bleeding over. Summer plane tickets got 19% more expensive. Cheap getaways are currently in a tailspin. The $400 cross-country flight is now closer to $476. If you can find a seat at all, because they're cutting routes. Perfect storm of geopolitical tension, labor shortages, and skyrocketing operational costs. Jet fuels jumped from $2.50 to $4 a gallon in a matter of weeks. Fuel accounts for 25% of an airline's operating expenses. Airlines are eliminating the deeply discounted seats that they once used to fill planes with. Travelers are willing to pay for extra legroom, lounges, flexibility. Best time to buy a domestic flight, 1 to 3 months out. For international, it's 4 to 6 months out. Flights on Tuesdays and Wednesdays remain significantly cheaper than the Sunday return rush. I was doing a little bit of work for my television spot, and one of the stories that I saw was that Six Flags is going to sell 7 of its regional parks for $331 million. Six Flags attendance was down 13% last year. SeaWorld attendance was down 2.5%. Bigger destinations are thriving. These regional theme parks, not doing well. Disney dominates with Disneyland, Disney World. Universal has Super Nintendo World, Harry Potter, and Jurassic World. Kids also now have streaming and youth sports schedules and video games and general smartphone distractions to keep us from going to the theme parks. Epic Games, who makes Fortnite, is going to cut more than 1,000 jobs as usage is slipping on Fortnite. The company had been spending significantly more than we're making since usage of the game began to decline in 2025. The layoffs, along with more than $500 million in savings from cuts to contracting and marketing and leaving roles unfilled, would reduce costs. It's interesting how layoffs work, huh? Apple said yesterday they're going to bring paid ads to maps to the United States and Canada this summer. Smart. Hot AI trade still right now is storage companies and memory. Companies like SanDisk, Western Digital, and Seagate. They're amongst the leaders in the S&P 500 in 2026. Heavy spending on artificial intelligence creates insatiable demand for memory and storage. Microsoft is out there today saying, we have to get the trust of the American people if we're going to be building data centers in their backyard. I've got a niece who worked on the Pete Buttigieg presidential campaign a few years back. She's politically active, is what I'm trying to get at. And she's not liking what they're trying to build in Virginia, close to her, and how it's raising electricity costs. Anthropic's Claude can now control your computer through prompts from your phone. Anthropic has added a new feature to let Claude control your computer and accept prompts from your phone, and investors think it's extremely bad news for traditional software companies. The ability to remotely control your AI agent, which has full access to your computer, is one of the key features of OpenClaw. You might have heard of Moltbot. Software stocks are tanking out of the news. Prospect of millions of people employing powerful agents to run 24/7 on their computers from their phones could very well mean fewer humans will pay to use these software products. Names like Adobe, down 3.6% today. Atlassian, down 7.6%. HubSpot, down 9.1%. Figma, down 6%. Microsoft, down 2.4%. So one of the better trades recently was the software. Those companies I just talked about. Ticker symbol as a group of an ETF is IGV. And just this one little bit of news from Anthropic about controlling your computer with your phone sent the stocks down. Amazon's Zoox to increase San Francisco and Las Vegas footprint and expand service to Austin and Miami this year. They're funny looking vehicles. Kind of look like a toaster. Nintendo is reportedly cutting back Switch 2 production by 33% as the U.S. sales underperform. They're going to produce 4 million units of the Switch 2 this quarter, down from 1/3 of its original 6 million. Weaker holiday sales weren't just a Nintendo problem. The season saw the worst November in 30 years for overall American gaming console unit sales. Tesla is seeing some European sales rise for the first time in more than a year, but they're still lagging BYD. Registrations jumped 12% in the European Union. BYD makes a cheaper EV. They sold 17,954 in the period for Europe. Tesla was just right behind, 17,664. So today's stories are: oil is rebounding off of yesterday's lows. Iran continues to deny it took part in negotiations with the United States. Weakness across mega cap stocks, broader market mostly higher. Strength in energy, utilities, consumer staples, materials, financials, and real estate. Weakness in communication services, IT, consumer discretionary, and healthcare. The AI jitters are back. Salesforce and other software stocks. Corning's up 9%. It's the top mover in the S&P 500 today. Optics. That really got optical stocks moving last week when NVIDIA talked about their networking gear and getting it ready for maybe a switch from copper to optics, or maybe a side-by-side optics and copper developing together. There wasn't a lot of detail, but Corning, Coherent, Lumentum, all have been on fire since then. Corning's had a strong start to 2026, rising more than 60% year to date. Its glass is used in laptop computers, monitors, and a variety of industrial and telecommunication applications. They've got a glass for the phones called Gorilla Glass that is tough. It feels like screens were busting a lot more 10 years ago. Bank of America securities analyst Wamsi Mohan raised Corning's price outlook to 155 from 144. Cited increased confidence in the optical cycle, a 40% net income contributor, and AI data center demand. I have a Pints and Portfolio coming up Saturday, April 18th, 11:30 to 1:30 in Sunnyvale, California. Why would you want to have a beer with me? It's nice. It'll be a beautiful sunny day. Saturday, April 18th, 11:30 to 1:30. It can offer you a good second opinion analysis of where you are, whether you're on the road to retirement or already there, and help identify potential areas for improvement and growth. I'll bring Ryan Ignacio and Julie Channer O'Rourke, two of my favorite CFPs, good human beings. Whether you're looking to explore options to potentially advance your investments, assess your financial track, or want information on what CFPs do. I use a CFP. I'm wealthy and I'm not about to lose it. Wealth preservation is the name of my game. And retirement planning. A lot of stuff I don't know. You can sign up for the event at robblackshow.com. That's robblackshow.com.
The markets are more volatile than ever. Inflation, interest rates, global uncertainty. If you have $500,000 or more invested, ignoring it could cost you your future. At EP Wealth Management, they offer a free preliminary financial plan, a chance to identify potential risks in your portfolio before the next downturn hits. Get insights from Chad Burton, CFP, and Rob Black, trusted voices in financial planning and retirement strategies. They'll help you spot hidden risks, rebalance thoughtfully, and uncover opportunities to grow and protect your wealth, even in turbulent times. Their goal? To help you feel more confident about your financial future during uncertain times. Don't wait for the markets to decide your future. Schedule your complimentary preliminary financial plan at robblackshow.com. That's robblackshow.com. EP Wealth Management. Plan smarter, live better, no matter what the markets do. Investments not FDIC insured. Past performance does not guarantee future results. Not an offer to sell or a solicitation to buy any security. Member FINRA SIPC.
Let's talk estate planning and legacy building, Chad. This is something that I never ever thought when I was 18 years old in college that I was going to be talking about a legacy as well as an estate. I don't want it to work till the day I died, but other things are going to happen. What do we need to know?
Well, I mean, estate planning, everybody needs one, and everybody has one, whether or not they know it or not. If you don't have a plan, the state has one for you in terms of controlling where your money goes if you die.
That's right.
But at the basic level, it's naming the proper beneficiaries on your retirement accounts. Who do you want the money to go to? At the other level, when you first, before doing any major estate planning, you really should have a good financial plan that properly projects your net worth into the future.
Okay.
With the net worth and the cash flow statements in the long run to say, okay, here's what I'm worth now. Here's my income sources. Here's my investments. Based on what I'm spending, how much am I going to be worth at, say, age 90 or 95 when I might die? How much money in a present value, not in a future value, right? Because we got to adjust it with inflation. How much money is going to be going to my kids? So is that going to ruin them? Are they going to quit work way too early because they think they're millionaires?
That's right.
And I've seen that happen so many times.
You've seen it happen a lot?
Oh my gosh. I've seen it happen in a couple of situations, either inheriting money or divorces situations where,
okay,
if you remember back, there was a client that we had that was married to a baseball player. They got divorced.
Oh yeah.
She thought she had a ton of money. Then she got super into day trading, wouldn't listen to anybody's financial advice. And then, 5 years later, she went from millions to broke because she didn't change spending habits and she didn't get advice on the investment side. So
that story has a lot more color that we're not going to get into. But
oh yeah, a lot more color.
Holy mackerel. I remember that one well.
Yeah, it was a sad one for sure. But I've also seen, kids at 40 or 45 inherit a couple $1 million and they think they're millionaires and they can retire. But that the present value of your income, if you're making in the Bay Area 150 grand a year just to survive in the Bay Area, right? And you project that forward for 20 years, how much money would you need to replace that? It's millions of dollars.
Millions.
And so you also never know, is the kid good with money? Are they likely to get a divorce? And if you leave them money, will they be smart and keep it as separate property, or will they commingle it and then lose half of it in a divorce? Or maybe they get remarried at a different date and time and they don't change their estate plan and then all the money goes to the new spouse instead of their own children. So how much control do you need to have after you pass away so that your kids or grandkids don't screw up, right?
It's a big fear, Chad.
It really is. So the first step, again, is just really projecting what are you truly going to be worth? Because if you go into an attorney and you're worth a lot of money now, they're going to do the planning based on your net worth now.
Uh-huh.
But you could be spending a ton of money and might really not be worth that much when you're 90, right? Or you could, you really need to go do things like, what's the family history of Alzheimer's and dementia? Are you going to likely spend 5 to 10 years in a nursing home before you die? What are your gifting strategies to either churches and charities now, or, it's really a good idea, Rob, to, while you're alive, gift some money to your kids and grandkids to see what they do with it, to see what do you need to have in place after you're gone. So the first part of it, what's that?
It's interesting because I talk to my kid and we go to football practice in the super early morning. He always asks brilliant questions about you and such. And I was talking like, my biggest fear for you is gambling. Like, it's too easy to do now. It's everywhere. And he goes, Dad, I don't call it gambling. I call it winning. And I'm like, I'm writing you out of the well. You're going to get nothing if you ever say that again.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. I've heard the same thing from Eli lately.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Kids. Anyway, back to you.
You can literally gamble on anything now. I mean, it's just wild.
Yeah, I won't talk about it because this is your time. You should shine, but I'll talk about it on a future show.
No, I mean, it's a good thing to talk to your kids about that stuff. And are they doubling down, or are they controlling their losses, right? I mean, it all plays into it. But the first part of estate planning, though, Rob, isn't necessarily, who you're going to leave to what, but what happens if you're incapacitated, right? If you don't have the proper documents in place and you're 80 years old and most of your money is in an IRA, unless you have a properly drafted power of attorney, your family is in for some pain. Because if you need to pay your expenses, but you have Alzheimer's, you can't even pay your own bills. And then your son goes out to try to make a withdrawal from the IRA, and they're going to be like, let's say it's at Vanguard or Schwab or Fidelity. They're going to say, I don't know who you are. You don't have a power of attorney. We can't talk to you. And if the dad or you can't handle it, right, then they're going to have to be appointed as guardian, which is very expensive and time consuming. Instead, if you would have just got a properly drafted power of attorney for somebody to handle your financial affairs while you're alive but incapacitated, that's going to save a lot of time. So in California, a living trust, a pour over will, a healthcare directive, and a power of attorney are really key to protect you while you're alive so that you're taken care of and people can't waste your money on expenses you don't want them to waste money on. And then you think about, what are you leaving after you actually die?
When you refer to those documents, would you call those the entry level or the bare minimum planning documents? And then later on, you get into more complex things, like you're talking about estate planning.
Yeah, we call them foundational documents.
Foundational. Got it. Thank you.
Yeah, a lot of times there's, when clients are investing over $2 million with us, we have our internal team that reviews existing documents and then external attorneys that a lot of times we can cover a majority of that cost to redo those foundational documents.
Got it.
So that's the basics, right? To avoid probate and take care of your assets while you're alive or incapacitated. If you have a really high net worth, you're over 15 million single, or you're going to be worth over 30 million joint, then that's where you get into the advanced estate planning, where you need other types of trusts like spouse lifetime access trust, dynasty trusts, things like that to help reduce the federal estate tax. What's great, California is an expensive place to earn a lot of money, Rob, but it's a pretty cheap place to die because it's community property. Washington, Oregon, Hawaii, there's other states that are very expensive states to die in.
Would you make a decision to move to a different state based on what you just said?
Oh, 100%. We have an exodus going out of Washington right now.
Okay.
Washington passed another stupid tax that is causing business owners to leave and higher net worth people to leave because they're trying to highly tax estates over $4 million. The state's just taking the money, and it's creating an issue for the state that they're just digging themselves in a hole.
Thanks very much. It's CFP Chad Burton. He has a wonderful website and a wonderful podcast, chadburton.com. It's chadburton.com. Thanks, Chad. Always very informative.
This interview featured on The Rob Black Show is brought to you by EP Wealth. Learn more at robblack.com.
Pfizer said it's going to seek regulatory approval for a Lyme disease vaccine candidate, despite the shot failing at a late stage trial. Pfizer said the vaccine missed the trial's statistical goal because not enough people in the study contracted Lyme disease to be confident in the results. So you can get this shot, but you have to get Lyme disease too to study it in theory. The company said the shot reduced the rate of infection by more than 70% of people who received the vaccine versus the placebo. The efficacy rate, that's a high rate. That's good. So the problem is, this isn't a drug that I think is going to move the needle because of exactly what they said. When you look at drugs to invest in as an investment opportunity, like GLP-1s are a great example. You look at the population, how many people are morbidly obese and need to lose weight? Or you can look at how many people have been bitten by a tick and get Lyme disease. And again, for the record, I am so naive on diseases that I can't really speak to how big the Lyme disease population is. But when I see a story like this, I'm like, that doesn't sound materially important. Again, if you know anyone who has Lyme disease, it's materially important. I think, didn't Daryl Hall from Hall & Oates get Lyme disease? And it's debilitating, and he hates it. Like, when he talks about deer ticks, he's like, I want every deer to go away and die. Like, go die.
Oh, my.
What a voice, though, that man has. Oates? Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I see why they split up. One guy had all the talent, and the other one said, oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. So I try to, when you see, like, shots and vaccines, don't get too caught up. You saw it in 2020, right? When COVID was running rampant and Moderna stock went crazy. Not so much since then. They get some PR cycles, but this is like a PR cycle to me. So that's what I'm getting at. And I don't know the industry well enough to say a Lyme disease. You're like, when I heard that there was an HPV, a herpes shot that you can get as a teenager. I was like, dang, I wish I had it when I was a teenager. Because the creepy crud is what, if you ever get a chance to YouTube this, YouTube Elvis Presley talking about having venereal diseases. It's amazing. And it goes, people say I got the creepy crud. And I'm like, what? And they're all lying. So anyway, topic change. Alphabet's drone delivery startup Wing has expanded service to the Bay Area. Woo! I don't know if I'm going to ever need it or use it, but a drone delivery company, it's bringing the ultra-fast residential drone delivery service to the Bay Area, where autonomous ride-hailing service like Waymo already has a sizable presence. We love our technology here. My brother David just recently got into a Waymo in Las Vegas. I was like, this is the craziest thing I've ever been in. And I'm like, yeah, that's 3 years ago. Get with the times. So Wing, like e-commerce giant Amazon, is trying to crack last mile delivery. It currently operates in limited areas in Atlanta, Charlotte, Houston, Dallas, Fort Worth. It's known as DFW. They say they've completed more than 750,000 deliveries across the service areas, covering more than 2 million people. Users can get drone delivery in eligible apps like Walmart or DoorDash, as well as Wing's own marketplace. That's pretty cool. Now, I don't know. I've always had a problem with, like, do we really need drone delivery? But Amazon came up and they bought a startup company called River, R-I-V-R. I think that's their name. And it's this weird spider-looking robot that will go from the Amazon delivery truck to your doorstep. So the driver doesn't have to get out of the vehicle. And at some point in time, there'll be driverless vehicles, right? I'll be dead before all this is implemented, but dang it, I love the idea of learning how to invest through like breakthroughs in technology. So there you go. Terafab. Man, I do love looking at Elon Musk talk. He's just one of those weird talkers. And he talks a lot. So the SpaceX and Tesla collaboration would be the bigger than everything else combined. It's going to be done in Giga, Texas. I know you're saying, are you making that up? Nope. So Tesla's Terafab project, the company is stepping into uncharted territory. Don't they make autonomous vehicles? Don't they make electric vehicles? Like, wait, they're going to make semiconductors? Not only is it planning what could be the largest semiconductor fabrication plant in the world, it's doing so with virtually no experience in chip manufacturing. Tesla and SpaceX, as well as the subsidiary XAI, will jointly run Terafab. It's the latest example of Elon Musk, who is CEO of all three companies, increasingly views them all as the same company. Trying to bring in all aspects of chip production, from design to fabrication to packaging, under one roof. Early reports suggest Terafab could be located on the north side of Tesla's Giga Texas factory. Based on a slide Musk presented showing an advanced technology fab there. Musk later clarified that he referred to this as being a smaller facility for iterating on chip designs. We don't know. We just know that the CapEx isn't accounted for. Capital expenditures, how much your company's going to spend on building semiconductor factories or AI trained robots, or it's a big part of the line items and financials that you really got to like go, how much are they spending on R&D? Let's take a breakout look at this. And right now it's only about $20 billion. And you're talking, that's going to be an $80 billion to $100 billion factory if it comes to fruition. Apple confirms it's hosting its annual worldwide developers conference from June 8th to the 12th. Developers and students will have the opportunity to celebrate in person during a special event at Apple Park on June 8th. This is where we get new software and we see what the developers are working on. And it's very profitable to make software for Apple, the developers, because Apple phone users are big spenders. Google, who was that German heiress who wasn't really an heiress? What are you, Paul? on Netflix. She referred to people as Paul. You look so Paul in that sweater. So Apple, rich. Google phones, Paul. And again, I'm kidding. If you own a Google phone, just don't tell me about it. Apple's reportedly preparing to introduce search advertising inside its Maps app. Oh. So it's funny because I own Apple shares and it's a highly concentrated position. And I'm doing an option overlay strategy on it, which is very fruitful. Everyone should work with a financial planner who has large concentrated positions because this is tough to do on your own. But when I go on a trip, if my spouse is like, I'm going to put Google Maps on, I'm like, no. Our largest position is Apple. You're putting Apple Maps on. And Apple Maps, if you remember when it debuted, it was a mess. Donald Trump said, it's a mess.
A mess. It's a mess.
Was he referring to Apple Maps? Probably not, but that's not going to stop me from using that sounder.
That's enough. Put down the mic.
Okay. That's funny. I haven't heard that one yet. But the ads are going to appear within search results in Apple Maps. Businesses could bid on keywords like sushi near me, allowing them to appear in the top results as sponsored listings, similar to how ad works in Google Maps. The feature could be announced as early as this month, with a rollout potentially beginning this summer across the iPhone. This is all about Apple saying we care about services. Do you remember that horrible song in the 1980s or 1990s? We care a lot. So Apple cares.
You just killed my favorite song of all time.
I'm sorry, Simon. So Apple services include App Store, iCloud, Apple Music, advertising, and it's become a huge growth engine. Services generated over $109 billion annually and carries big fat profit margins. Hardware doesn't have the big fat profit margins that they do for Apple because it's a premium product and you have to be poor not to afford them. Did I say that right? The PO don't need to apply.
I like the way you say that.
When I was at a gym 20 years ago, when I cared, pre-dad body, and I was watching people roll in with iPods and iPhones and working out with their phone strapped to their arm. I'm like, this is going to be huge. It's a luxury product. Services generated over $109 billion annually. Hardware growth, especially iPhone, has matured. Regulators are pressuring App Store monetization globally. Apple's expanding beyond the App Store into more native apps like news and stocks, and now potentially maps. Sponsored pins or listings would appear at the top of the search results. I'm not crazy offended by this, but it does make me feel like, can I pay for not to have the ads? Advertising carries very high incremental margins. Even modest ad penetration maps could add billions of dollars annually due to the scale of Apple's user base, 2.5 billion people. It's worthy to think about. Apple stock rose day after analysts pointed out multiple reasons they expect strong iPhone demand in months ahead, bucking a broader industry trend as costs rise. Morgan Stanley analyst Eric Woodring wrote in a research report Sunday night. That's what I'm doing on my Sunday nights. He wrote the iPhone upgrade rates. The percentage of iPhone owners likely to upgrade their phone in the next 12 months reached 37%, up 2 percentage points year over year, with China upgrade rates reaching all-time highs. Gave that stock a little bit of a kiss, if you know what I'm saying. I don't know what you're saying. You can always find me online at robblackshow.com or come to a Pints and Portfolio, Sunnyvale, California, April 18th, 11:30 to 1:30. I'll bring a couple financial planners with me. We'll talk wealth preservation, retirement planning, very informal, all by the ears. Sign up at robblackshow.com.
The markets are more volatile than ever. Inflation, interest rates, global uncertainty. If you have $500,000 or more invested, ignoring it could cost you your future. At EP Wealth Management, they offer a free preliminary financial plan, a chance to identify potential risks in your portfolio before the next downturn hits. Get insights from Chad Burton, CFP, and Rob Black, trusted voices in financial planning and retirement strategies. They'll help you spot hidden risks, rebalance thoughtfully, and uncover opportunities to grow and protect your wealth even in turbulent times. Their goal? To help you feel more confident about your financial future during uncertain times. Don't wait for the markets to decide your future. Schedule your complimentary preliminary financial plan at robblackshow.com. That's robblackshow.com. EP Wealth Management. Plan smarter, live better, no matter what the markets do. Investments not FDIC insured. Past performance does not guarantee future results. Not on offer to sell or a solicitation to buy any security. Member FINRA SIPC.